Hello, all, and welcome to our talk on what's changed and what you need to know about on-premise Windows Update Management. My name is Aria Carly, and I'll be your narrator today as we have three special speakers come and present some topics that are interesting to you if you care about what you need to know about keeping your organization protected and productive. If you look at our agenda today, we're going to cover how you can ensure your environment stays secure, and upcoming changes that will simplify the management of deploying servicing stack updates with the monthly latest cumulative update from either WSUS or catalog, as well as how you can test out these changes today. So stay tuned as we flip it over to Ritvik Raj and his discussion on how you can keep your environment secure by converting from HTTP to HTTPS, as well as some changes that are coming to how you secure your HTTP WSUS environment. Now, on to you, Ritvik.
Thanks, Arya. So, to ensure your WSUS infrastructure is as secure as it can be, Microsoft strongly recommends using TLS or SSL protocol between your computers and your WSUS servers. The Microsoft Update System, including WSUS, relies on two types of content: update payloads and update metadata. Update payloads are the data files that contain the updates themselves. Update metadata is all the information that the Microsoft Update System needs to know about the updates, including which updates are available, which computers each update can be applied to, and where to retrieve the payload for each update. Both types of content are crucial, and they both need to be protected in order to keep your computers secure. Update payloads are protected against modification by multiple means, including digital signature checks and cryptographic hash verifications. HTTPS provides a proper chain of custody which the client uses to prove that the data is trusted. When a client computer is receiving updates directly from the Microsoft Update, the client computer receives the update metadata directly from the Microsoft servers. This metadata is always transmitted via HTTPS to prevent tampering. When you use WSUS or Config Manager to manage your organization's update, the update metadata travels from the Microsoft server to your client computers via a chain of connections. All these connections need to be protected. Your WSUS connects with the Windows Update server and receives update metadata. These connections always use HTTPS, and the HTTPS security features guard the metadata against tampering. If you have multiple WSUS servers arranged in a hierarchy, the downstream servers receive the update metadata from the upstream servers. Here you have a choice. You can use HTTP or HTTPS for these metadata connections. But choosing to use HTTP is very dangerous. It breaks the chain of trust. Using HTTPS enables the WSUS server to prove that it trusts the metadata it receives from the upstream WSUS server. Your client computers receive update metadata from a WSUS server. Again, you have a choice. You can use HTTP or HTTPS for these connections. However, using HTTPS enables the client device to prove that it trusts the metadata it receives from the WSUS server. So, in order to maintain the chain of trust and prevent attacks on your client computers, you must make sure that all of the metadata connections within your organizations, the connection between the upstream and the downstream WSUS servers, and the connection between the WSUS server and your client computers, are defended against attacks. And to do that, we highly recommend that you configure your WSUS network to protect these connections using HTTPS. That said, for those of you who are utilizing HTTP, it is worth noting that as of September 2020 security patch update, in order to keep the clients inherently secure, we are no longer allowing HTTP-based internet servers to leverage user proxy by default for detecting updates. This means that the detection for updates will fail when HTTP-based internet servers that rely on a proxy are used without a configured system proxy. If you need to leverage user proxy for detecting updates while using an HTTP-based internet server, despite the vulnerabilities it presents, you must configure the proxy behavior to allow user proxy to be used as a fallback if detection using system proxy fails. This change does not impact the customers who have, per Microsoft recommendation, secured their WSUS server with TLS or SSL protocol, thereby using a HTTPS-based internet servers to keep the system secure. That said, if a proxy is required, we recommend configuring a system proxy to ensure the highest level of security. Thank you. Over to you, Arya.
Thanks, Ritvik. Now that we've covered how to secure your WSUS servers, let's listen to Ashish as he explains to us the upcoming changes about deploying monthly updates, including changes on how you deploy servicing stack updates, also known as SSUs, and the latest cumulative update, or LCU, with WSUS and Catalog. Ashish, on to you.
Thank you, Arya. Admins using WSUS or Catalog have previously had to deploy the SSU to a client prior to deploying that month's corresponding LCU. With this change, admins do not have to worry about this as the SSU and LCU come as a single package to the device, and their deployments are correctly orchestrated on the client. Now, the SSU and LCU are provided together as part of the LCU KB to WSUS and Catalog. Admins simply have to apply the LCU and will get the SSU applied correctly if necessary. For those using Config Manager version 2002 or later, you will likely have already started to notice the benefit of having the SSU automatically orchestrated to be installed prior to the LCU. This change will impact both IT admins as well as end users. Admins, you will note that rather than having multiple KB articles, one for the SSU and one for the LCU, you will now have to look at a single article for the content of both the LCU and SSU. Additionally, when determining what to deploy, you will only see one monthly cumulative update in both WSUS and Catalog, and do not have to worry about the orchestration between the SSU and LCU. The payload you are approving will contain both, as well as the orchestration to ensure they are applied on the device in the correct order. For your end users, they will now see only a single update in their Windows Update settings and history page, the same as end users connecting directly to Windows Update C today. Control Panel will also show a single KB. DISM, however, will continue to display both the SSU and the LCU separately, but will only show a version number with the SSU to make it clear that it is not an update that action can be taken upon. This will appear the same as if it was any other feature on demand, also known as FODs. To learn more, check out the recently released blog announcing the simplification of SSU deployment and beginning of a single monthly update. Thank you. Over to you, Arya.
Thanks, Ashish. So, are you interested in checking out these changes and recommendations now? What about testing out the upcoming Windows 10 feature update version 20H2? Or maybe the cool enablement package technology with which it will be shipped? Well, let's listen as Shilja walks through how exactly you can go about testing all of these changes and more now. Shilja, on to you.
Thank you, Arya. In order to preview with WSUS, you will first want to open up your WSUS server. Then you will open up Software Update Point Component Properties and select Product tab. From there, you will want to select the Windows Insider pre-release box. This box was added back in August 2019 when we first enabled pre-release updates for 1909. It is extremely important that you check this box, or no preview updates will populate later on in your list of Windows 10 updates. Once you have added the Windows Insider pre-release product, you will want to follow the same process you used to deploy any other Windows 10 feature update. Once you have pulled up the list of Windows 10 updates, you will need to refresh to ensure that the pre-release updates show up. From there, you will simply select the appropriate Windows 10 pre-release update. The best part about this is that for validating 20H2 pre-release in WSUS, You will not only have the option to download the full feature update from the pre-release product category, but you will also be able to test out the enablement package experience for devices already on Windows 10 version 2004. These devices on 2004 will move to 20H2 in a style more akin to a quality update. Imagine restarting in 5 minutes or less. To test out this functionality, you can also update to 2004 and then take the applicable Windows Insider pre-release publisher 20H2. To learn more, check out the links that we have as part of additional resources at the end of this presentation. In addition to making 20H2 preview builds available on WSUS, we also publish the same pre-release versions to Windows Update, where you can manage with Windows Update for Business, and to Azure Marketplace to enable you to set up a virtual machine. Finally, you can go to the Windows Insider Preview Downloads page to enable you to have access to the ISOs if so needed. Thank you. Back to you, Arya.
Thanks, Shelja. We hope you've enjoyed this talk and have a better understanding with how to secure your WSUS servers, understand the changes coming regarding how we're going to be shipping one cumulative update per OS servicing release, and have the know-how to go about testing all this functionality and more before it's ever even released. As you can see, there's a variety of resources that you can look at to actually learn more about any of these topics. Thanks again for listening.